What is going on, YouTube? Zero Lead here, back again with a new video. Episode 41 of the Disco Era U.S.S. Enterprise tutorial. Just want to thank you very much for tuning into today's video. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and helping me in supporting the channel. Can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And today we got a couple of things to work on. We're going to be shifting outside of our Enterprise just for a little bit. Before we continue on with our interior, just want to get a little bit of detailing done on the outside of our ship. We're going to be getting some detailing done on our engines, and then we're also going to be changing the color of the top of our bridge and the very bottom of our saucer section. We'll get into that a little bit later. Not a super long video today, just over 22 minutes, but we're just going to jump right in. What we're going to start off with is, if you look at the back of the engines on the Disco Era Enterprise, you notice that it has fins. It has two fins on the top and then two fins on the bottom. And you can see I'm just going to start building this out from this black strip right here. So if you're built up to your gray strip, you've got two blocks in between, then you've got a black strip. And then literally what we're doing, it's not very complicated on this top row here, just off of each corner on the lip right here. This is too wide, so we're on the second one over, right on the lip. And we built three blocks. We did did the same thing on both sides, and now we're going to do the same thing on the right side of the engines. We're just slowly going to start to wireframe out the structure of these wings. Now, I've seen people try this different ways, and I've tried to come up with a bunch of different ways myself of doing it. But as I've gone on, I found out that simpler is better, and we're not going to be doing anything overly complicated here. So you can say I just went up one and back three, up one, back three. Now we're going to do the same thing on the right. I just added one more, going up one, back three, up one, back three. Now we're going to do the same thing on the left engine. Let's do the same thing on the other side. We're going up one and back three, up one and back three. I think maybe we need one more, just a little bit more height. But again, you don't want these wings to be super big. Now there is one tiny deviation from my Enterprise and what we fall on for the show, is that on the show there is a wing on the underside of the engines. I don't know why, when I looked at it, it just didn't look right. To be honest with you, these wings on the engine, they're irrelevant, because you're in a vacuum of space. Thing does not need to be aerodynamic, so it's strictly for looks, or maybe it's connected into the warp core. I just didn't like how it looks. So now that we have our top row, now we're going to start, and I believe we're going to add, we went down and then we're going back three again, 4, 5, 6, and now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to do the same thing on the right side of the engine. Looks like I have a little bit of a hole there. Got to fix that. Six. All right, let's do the same thing on this side. And that definitely has the arch that we want. And again, if you're not exactly sure, you can use directly what I'm using off of, or again, pull up your pictures, your reference material for your Enterprise. I believe that was 6. Let's count that out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so it's repeating that same pattern again. So now we're just going to go down 1 and back 6 again. Now, I've had one or two people in the past who were commenting, or maybe they get stuck, or they notice that something's not matching up. The best thing I can suggest, if this does happen to you when you're making this thing, because obviously I'm not going to be able to look at your ship myself to see where the mistake might be, but if something's not matching up somewhere, um, there's a mistake somewhere. So in that case, just go back and check your work, um, double check. I want to touch base on it real quick while I'm working on here, though. You can see I extended that by another 6, and then we brought it forward. So we're just going to be bringing this up all the way over, and then we're going to go down and count out 6. Then we're going to get rid of the axis underneath, because I just don't think that was long enough. But no, yeah, if for whatever reason, if something's not matching up, just go through the process again. Again, somewhere you made a mistake, and just a matter of trying to catch where that error is somewhere, because it happens to myself even when I'm building. Everybody is going to make a mistake somewhere, because there's anytime that a human is doing something, you're going to get some type of human error somewhere, as good as you are, unless it's computer rendering it out for you. And I don't suggest doing that, because I have seen, as I've done searches on Google for different types of generators, I have noticed that has become a thing that you can now find apparently full on pixel shaped generators. But I don't like using those because it comes out super pixelated, and it looks very generic and very computer generated. Um, so for those reasons, any shape that you see here outside of the actual circle outline is built by hand and built by design. So you can see now I'm literally just going along the gap here, and I'm just following the top. So I'm trying to get an idea at this point of some type of structure, because we have our wireframe out, but now the challenge is making this thing 3D. And really it's what I'm doing, the technique is just piece by piece, adding layer by layer here or there, zooming out, seeing how it looks, and then add another layer on. And just you keep going until you get to a point that you're happy with. You might have to make, little tiny changes here or there, but that's really what this is coming down to. Obviously I came up with a design for it, but as I was building this, the wireframe was really the only portion of this that I had mapped out in my head. Everything at this point, I just kind of I'm going off of the shape of the wings. So there's a pattern to this. So again, we're going along the line of our pattern. You can see I'm going down along with the cuts. Nothing's overlapping, and we're just deleting our access, because um, some of this we are going to fill in. But right now, again, we're just trying to develop the shape of it. We're getting there. That access, and make sure both sides match. All right, looking good. Now let's do the same thing on the right side engine. We're getting there. We're starting to look pretty good. Definitely rocking and rolling here, making a lot of progress. I feel like before we know it, we'll be done with this thing and we'll be on the next build. Um, I've been definitely having a lot of people asking me what my next build is going to be, and again, I can say it's going to be Voyager or the Enterprise D. Just haven't fully decided which one I'm going to do first. I'm planning though to build both of them. That's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to that. And keep this tutorial series going with different ships. So if there's anything else that guys want to see me do, definitely drop a comment below. Let me know what ship builds you want to see me do in the comment section. You can see I'm just filling this in. I'm just bringing it down. And I just brought it up to the cut. We're going to fill in this strip of 3, and then we're going to add in another row underneath it, and we're going to bring it right up to the cut again, right there. We're going to stop right there with that line. And once we fill this in, I believe we're going to be done with the wings. Not super complicated. Again, like I said in the beginning of the episode, very simple design what I came up with, but I think it really sells a look, and don't really need to do anything else. All right, let's get I think we got to do the insides and then this far right side, and then we'll be done. We'll zoom out and take a look at it. Oh, went one too far. We want to make sure we stop at that cut there. Now that looks pretty slick. Looking pretty good, I think. She is definitely starting to come together. But we still got a lot to do. You can see here underneath I had tested an idea to add that lower wing, but again I deleted here because no matter what I came up with, I just wasn't happy with it, and I felt that it was taking away from the shape of the overall engines. I think that looks much better. Definitely looks much cleaner, I think. One little thing we're going to have to do here too is add in a little detail up here around the front of our engines. I'm going to try one or two things here. We're going to add some detail lines going along the sides, but ultimately what we're going to end up on is just literally a gray strip going around the orange. I think I tried one or two different things here, but this will give you some ideas on what you can try on your ship, because everybody has different ways they want to build stuff. And I'm not saying what I'm doing is the best way to do it, just what I thought was the best way for my ship. But that's the beauty of Minecraft. I think it's a great form of expression, and everybody's going to have their own spin on it. Now, you can see this is actually pretty close to the picture, what I did right here. Because if you look at the front of the engines, definitely has like these little knobs these notches that come in here. But I don't like it right there, because to me, I feel like that notch that I'm adding in, it's taking away from the shape of the circle, and it's looking a little bit more like an X at this point, um, which I'm not really feeling that. I don't know. I know that that is ultimately closer to the picture, and maybe at some point I might go back to that, but at this point I end up just fixing the circle and making it single orange again. And then we're going to try one other thing before we ultimately settle on just the gray strip going all the way around. Because at this point I was thinking, well, maybe I can just kind of like facade this bracket out and just like kind of have like a gray lines going along here around it. But as I was doing it, I don't know, it just didn't look right either. Because again, sometimes when you do it on Minecraft, even though it's accurate to the picture, it just doesn't look right. So This is going to be one of those cases where I think we're just going to have to take an artistic liberty and try to make it work within what we can do on this game. Because, I mean, I think at the end of the day, if I could have done a completely circular area here and it wasn't blocky, it probably would look a lot better. But um, I can't put my finger on it. When we zoom out here, you'll kind of hopefully see what I'm talking about. So you can see I tried to add like those brackets, same idea of what we did just a second ago, but kind of a different way of doing it. But it has like a rocket ship feel to it now from the front when you look at it, and I don't know, not feeling it. I even tried here to salvage it, maybe thinking maybe I just made it a little too long and try to adjust it here. But again, it's just I don't think that's going to work either. Yeah, because to me, in my opinion, right now, looking at the two, I feel that the one on the left looks better than the one on the right with the added detail. And that is kind of an advantage right now with this particular ship class because it has the two same exact engines on either side. We can make a change like this and we can compare the two looking at them side by side. So it makes it a little bit easier rather than trying to make a change and then envision it in your head what it looked like before you changed it, you know? So now we're just going to do a classic gray line going all the way around. And this is going to be one thick and not super complicated to do. All right, it's got a couple more to do. Well, actually, one more. Now, you see just how adding that accent of gray, to me, it makes the orange pop even more. Um, and I really feel that that makes a huge difference because you're adding some. It's not. It's different when you have like this gray line to divide the two. I really feel that it brings out more of the orange in some ways. All right, one more, and then we'll zoom out and take a look. Yeah, see, to me, that's no doubt right there. And that's going to be the difference between um, building this at an amateur level, I think, and then having a couple of years experience of doing this, making the call to make that change. Because again, as you can see, there's a lot of different ways to do this, but that would be essentially, I would consider pinstriping detail because we're just literally adding a block of gray going all the way around it just to bring out the orange a little bit more, and it's not even changing any design or anything. But I think that came out great. So now we're going to move on to the top of our bridge. You can see I've got the, I think that's the crystal quartz or whatever that is, the cyan quartz. We're going to change out all the yellow to that. And then we're going to replace the corners with sea lanterns just in the corners. And maybe just add cyan carpet on it to cover that up. That's looking pretty good. But it's not looking good enough. We're going to have to use that prismarine brick slab to replace the white. Now, close up, I know you're thinking this is not so visually pleasing to look at, but when you zoom out a couple of feet, you really can't notice the texturing on it. And the further out you go, I think that that looks better ultimately than having the white on there. I wish that there was a more solid color cyan half block that we could have used here, but we're pretty much just trying to make lemon out of lemonade at this point. But I definitely think that this is going to look better. Now again, we could have kept this yellow and have it with the white border going around with the half slabs, but I just think that that cyan makes the bridge pop area, uh, makes it pop just a little bit more than it did before. Now we're going to do the same thing to the bottom, and then that's going to wrap up episode 41. Not a super long video today. I'm trying to not have all my videos go over 30 minutes if possible, and I ended up only editing together 2 videos for this episode, so we're definitely moving along here. Still have a bunch of things to do, have a lot of more detail to do on our ship, as well as finishing up our interior before we call this thing done. So definitely stick with me through this tutorial series, because definitely have a lot more to come. And see here, I'm just swapping out my yellow bricks. So I'm doing sea lanterns in the corners so we can have a light. I want this area to light up. This is kind of a clever way of hiding your light source. And now we're gonna get rid of our half slabs here with the white and then replace that with the prismarine half slabs. And we're going to do this bottom row down here also. Looks like I missed one there. I have to fill that in. Let's just get rid of all that white. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. And one more. And let's zoom out and take a gander and see how she's looking. See, it's that little detail that really helps just make your ship start looking beautiful. One of these details alone isn't going to help sell it, but that's the difference between doing this tutorial in one episode as opposed to taking your time uh, like we are. Taking the time to do all of this in real time. It definitely makes a difference, especially when you plan it out, take your time. And if you make any mistakes or you're just having problems with your building, take a break from it. Come back at a different point. This tutorial series isn't going anywhere, and there's still a lot more to come. Uh, But I do think that's going to wrap up episode 41. And just want to thank everybody again for tuning into today's video. Can't tell you enough how much I appreciate all the support, especially in these crazy times. It truly means a lot to me and gives me even more motivation to continue on with this tutorial series. and to start planning out my future builds and to get that going. Very, very exciting for me, and I hope everybody looks forward to that as well. And don't forget tomorrow to tune in for episode 42. Definitely have a lot of cool stuff to come, and you can always check out new episodes Monday through Saturday. And the only day that I don't have new episodes coming out is on Sundays. For whatever reason, during this episode, if I wasn't specific enough on something, or if you have a question, drop a comment below. I'm usually pretty responsive in the comments section, and I do my best to answer questions and be as helpful as I can in helping you in your journey on building your own enterprise. So, anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me, and I will catch you all on the next episode.